Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, as we close out the first month of 2021, a month that certainly did its best to try to top 2020. Another twist coming this week with the decision by Senator Rob Portman not to seek re-election to a third term. Once the dust had settled, we had a chance to sit down, talk about the man who once held the seat and who might hold it in the future. It was around this time, 12 years ago, that the late Senator George Voinovich announced he would retire at the end of his Senate term. He had incoming calls from a number of Republican hopefuls and one outgoing call to former Congressman Rob Portman.
George Voinovich asked me to run, and he asked me to come to D.C. and have dinner with him, and I wasn't planning to run for the Senate.
But run and win he did, easily, twice, filling similar shoes. You followed in that Voinovich mold, fiscal conservative, moderate in temperament. Does that even make it out of an Ohio Republican primary today?
We'll see. I mean, the voters are going to decide that. There's lots of interest, and that's a good thing. Public service is important. It's honorable in my view. You want people to step forward. And I think we'll have a good candidate who can both win a primary but also win a general election.
A man interested in the latter part of that equation is Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan, who is weighing a run for the seat. Given President Trump's back-to-back 8-point wins in the state, he doesn't see someone in the mold of Portman or Voinovich coming out of the Republican primary.
I mean, I would assume that, the way the primaries go, you're going to get probably the extreme right of the right in the Republican Party, most conservative, anti-union, anti-worker person. And I think that's where it is. Someone who doesn't really want to reach across the aisle. I think that's probably who's going to get out of that primary. And the problem is that that's not where the vast majority of the Ohioans who vote are.
And a lot of people thought based on that Republican would be Congressman Jim Jordan. But late in the week, he announced he's passing on the Senate, opting to stay in the House. Now, Congressman Tim Ryan tells me he will likely be weighing his options and making a decision rather quickly because in order to run for the seat, it's going to take a lot of money, and that's going to take a lot of time to raise. There will be another open seat before that once Congresswoman Marcia Fudge is confirmed as HUD Secretary. Of course, when you go through a Senate confirmation, it always helps when one of your constituents is helping to lead it.
Thrilled to be here with my friend Congresswoman Marcia Fudge. Connie and I live in the city of Cleveland in her district.
Senator Sherrod Brown helping to kick off the Senate confirmation hearing of Secretary of Housing and Urban Development designate Marcia Fudge.
I have dedicated my entire life to public service and to working to help low-income families, seniors, and communities. I believe I am up to the challenge that is before me.
In a show of bipartisan support, Republican Senator Rob Portman also spoke on Fudge's behalf.
I don't always agree with Marcia on policy. She certainly doesn't always agree with me, but I can speak to her integrity, her commitment to justice, and the strength of her character. I think she's got a public servant's heart.
The biggest obstacle for Fudge were past partisan statements made in political arguments with Republicans, in particular over President Trump's Supreme Court pick of Amy Coney Barrett last fall.
I'm troubled by this and several other statements because, in my mind, they raise questions about your willingness and ability to work with Republicans if this is your opinion of Republicans.
Fudge told the senator there was more to the quotes he mentioned. That being said,
sometimes I am a little passionate about things. Is my tone pitch perfect all the time? It is not. But I do know this, that I have the ability and the capacity to work with Republicans, and I intend to do just that, and that is my commitment to you.
Now, confirmation vote is not likely this week coming up, but will come shortly after that, at which point a special election will be called to fill the open seat, and already the hopefuls lining up. Ohio seats in Congress rarely change hands, and when they do, it's because the holder of the seat voluntarily leaves it. Such is the case in Ohio 11, the seat held for the last dozen years by Congresswoman Marcia Fudge. With her move to the Biden administration, her seat will soon be open, with a special election held to fill it. Cuyahoga County Councilwoman Chantel Brown wants to be the one to do so, launching her campaign this week.
As the race currently stands, I'm the only elected official in this race. And I'm also the only candidate that can declare that they made history when I became the first woman to become the chair of the Cuyahoga County Democratic Party, as well as the first Black person ever elected to become chair.
Brown joins former state senators Nina Turner and Shirley Smith in the race, along with former Cleveland Councilman Jeff Johnson and former State Representative John Barnes. This, of course, is a race that is going to be all about the primary. It's expected to be a crowded field. Does that help you, hurt you?
You know what? I've never run against anyone. I've always run for the seat. So I think that when you look at the field of candidates that are currently declared, I have the body of work that demonstrates the person who's been getting the most done for the people that live here.
Brown recognizes the fundraising power of Nina Turner, national co-chair of Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign, with a large national following among his supporters. Are you prepared to raise the kind of money that you need to raise to run this race?
We may not be able to match our dollar for dollar, but what I can say is we have the people with us. I have a list of endorsements that grows every day of people that live here in the district that can actually make a difference in this race.
And of course, we look forward to bringing you our other conversations with other hopefuls as we get closer to that special election. With Democracy 2021, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday. Stay safe.